The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
Hi YouTube, this is Mona Kelso reporting. I believe I've solved our dilemma. However, whether we choose to solve it or not is up to us. What I'm going to tell you right now is that they've got us, the global banksters and foreign takeover criminals, have got us playing whack-a-mole. Yes, there really are moles coming up. For instance, this treaty signing that Obama, it's real, it's a problem, but it's an incremental step in a long line of disarmament exercises that we've been signed on to since 1997. Whacking the treaty signing is not going to solve the greater problem. We have to go to the root cause of all of this. See, this is the psyop. They distract us with things that are true, but that if we focus our energies on them, will bring us no solution. See? Just like audit the Fed. Remember when it used to be end the Fed? Well, audit Fed is now a psyop, and I'll tell you why. Not because they don't need audited, well, but they needed it 10 years ago. But because we don't have time to audit them. By the time they hand us over their fake books, like every mob organization that has 2 sets of books, we'll already be under martial law, and it won't matter. We have to end their illegal destruction of the global economy. They're a private corporation. They have no right to be printing our money, lending to us at interest, etc., etc. Auditing the Fed is a whack-a-mole. Okay? I have got such amazing information today. It's unprecedented. I've tried to make this video 3 times, and there's too much, and I can't do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post these documents on my activism website, which is called eyeswideopen.info. And when I say activism, I mean legal activism. Okay? Basically working within the constraints of law to change law. But at this point, this is a document that outlines all the illegal things that have been done to us since Obama has taken power. You say, oh, well, the Patriot Act was under Bush. Yes, but he reaffirmed it, didn't he? And then Bush did create these security agencies, but Obama has put Homeland Security, Department of Homeland Security, on steroids. So I'll go through this, but the really clincher document is the next one. And again, I have solved the dilemma, and I don't claim genius. This, I believe, was given to me by God, which those of you who hate that word, I understand why, believe me. But I'm telling you, this was a divine download. I'm not this smart. Okay, so under Obama, the TSA is born unlawful search and seizure. I don't care if they're seizing your toothpaste. It's unlawful search and seizure. Molestation became legal. Threat fusion centers are illegal. Violation of posse comitatus is illegal. Immunity for vaccine producers is illegal. Not telling people they can opt out is illegal. The war in Libya was illegal. NDAA is illegal. It's non-constitutional. Congress was declared ceremonial. They did nothing. The Expatriation Act is illegal. The new version of the National Resource Defense Preparedness Act is illegal. Crushing OWS and the mass unlawful arrests and the police brutality was illegal. No consequences, by the way. Carbon taxes are illegal. Global warming is a lie. I'll post a link. I just did an article called The Myth of Man-Made Global Warming. It's hard science. It proves it. I'll post that below. Domestic drone deployment is illegal. They denied it. A lot of alternative news agencies broke this. They were like, oh, LOL, conspiracy theorists. And they're like, oh, yeah, we did it the next day or whatever, a couple days later. MF Global transferring billions of dollars of private funds to JP Morgan, totally illegal, blatant fraud, nobody's being indicted. The GSA debacles again and again. Crimes, 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 no justice. Republican caucus election fraud. The Ron Paul campaign was neutralized from within. They never pursued the election fraud. There is a lawsuit pending, but Paul's not involved. Supreme Court unconstitutional Obamacare. Well, let's pretend it is a tax. It's still mandated commerce. That's illegal. COG assignment of national security emergency preparedness communications function, which Obama signed, I believe, 2 weeks ago, so he can kill the internet, take over your cell phone, illegal, illegal, illegal. And then, of course, Obama's forged and fraudulent documents. Nothing's happened. We have right now reports of anywhere from 30,000 to 250,000 NATO troops here on U.S. soil for training exercises. However, in light of the illegal NATO disarmament campaign that we've signed on to since 1997, these guys could be used for a gun grab. The Anaheim police attacked on unarmed civilians. The cops literally lied and said that rocks were being thrown at them when it was empty water bottles. You know, the kind where if you threw it at a baby, the baby would laugh. This is a repeat of things that they've been doing. It's totally illegal. But here's the cherry on top. Mayor Bloomberg, a public official, calling for those public safety officers under his employ to violate law, to violate their oath, to jeopardize public safety and national security. Didn't 9/11 happen in New York City? Anybody paying attention here? To stand down would be to let al-Qaeda terrorists to come in and do whatever. I mean, are you kidding me? And then nothing happens to this man. Granted, he wasn't in his public capacity when he was saying it, but you're not allowed to do that when you're a public official. What if he had called on the cops to say, well, until everybody gives up their Second Amendment rights, I want you to go out and rape children? How about that one? I'm going to read some poignant parts of the Declaration of Independence, which I'll be posting on my site, eyeswideopen.info, and also here below. But here's the important thing, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its power in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. He goes on, it goes on below that, you don't do this for just no reason, but this is the reason that you do it. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right and it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. I'll provide a link to the Declaration of Independence below. But here's what's really creepy. After the Declaration of Independence, they list the grievances of the King of England. And I have listed them here. The first sentence are the grievance. The second parts with the numbers are everything that's happening in our country that is identical to this grievance. Out of all the grievances that were listed, I only found one that's not happening right now. Only one. Okay? So I can't go through all this because it's too much. I'll pick some juicy ones out. Let's see. For imposing taxes without our consent. That would be Obamacare. That would be the income tax that was never ratified by Congress and was supposed to be a temporary war tax. And property taxes, which make us tenants on our own land. For depriving us in many cases of the benefits of trial by jury. That would be NDAA. For transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretended offenses. That would be NDAA, Guantanamo Bay, Black CIA interrogation bases, Camp X-Ray, all of those. Let's go back to some more. This was the one that hasn't happened yet. For cutting off our trade with parts of the world. Well, unless it's China, of course, but cutting off our trade has been accomplished by shipping all of our industry overseas so that we don't have any trade, and by allowing to China to have products in our country that are so cheap that we can't compete. Yeah, that's done that. Okay, he has combined, this is the King of England, with others to subject us to the jurisdiction of foreigners, to our Constitution, and unacknowledged by our laws, giving his assent to their acts of pretended legislation. That would be NATO calling the shots about us going to war. Here's a good one. He is affected to render the military independent of and superior to civil power. That would be illegal checkpoints, DHS, TSA, military on the streets. He is kept among us in times of peace, standing armies without the consent of our legislature. That would be same thing. He has erected a multitude of new offices and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat out their substance. Again, the same answer. He has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing his assent to laws for the establishing of judiciary powers. he has obstructed the administration, same thing, and the Supreme Court have become judicial activists. Instead of upholding the Constitution, we now, in effect, have a justice-free legal system. I could go on, okay? But here's the point. There's only one solution, and anything short of it is just a whack-a-mole game. And when you read exactly documented evidence that we have now every single thing that is happening that was occurring in 1776, what do? Well, we can do what they did, and that's basically it. Unless you're smarter than our forefathers, this is what they did. They called days of fasting and prayer, beseeching the mercies of God. Now, for those of you who are godless, I don't, whether they were deists or whatever, everybody was beseeching the mercies of God for our nation. Just look at the historical documents. If you don't know where to go to wallbuilders.org. Read the documents for yourself, okay? These are the principles upon which our nation was founded, and by the providence of Almighty God, to whom all of our forefathers directed their attention to beseech mercy from. That's what they did. That's the first thing. Because any solution after that, if we don't get our nation right and back into lawful living, internal government, we are going to require external government. That's what they said, if you'll read their writings. Next, what did they do? They had a Continental Congress for the redress of grievances. We must have this. It's too out of control. We can't whack them all. We've got to get to the root issue. That we are in tyranny. Up and down every direction. And then we have to rescind every illegal law, impeaching every criminal politician, and breaking ties with NATO as our sovereign Lord. Anything short of this is a whack-a-mole. People, I urge you. This is the only hope to save our republic. Getting into a civil war out of the get-go is not going to solve it. It's not going to solve it. This is what our forefathers did. They came together and talked about it first, came up with a plan. They did not just take up arms willy-nilly in a moment of fit of passion, whacking a mole, just going about shooting things. This is not the answer. Civil war, just off the get-go, is not the answer. We need to redress these grievances through the tools we were given by our forefathers, or else we're not going to have a republic. And it's probably weeks, if not months, if not days away. Thank you for listening. I pray that you take this seriously. God, have mercy on our nation.